Hi guys, welcome back to another Scout the Defender YouTube video. In today's video, I thought I'd give you a little walk around of Project 90, some of the things that I've been working on in the background and some of the exciting plans that I've got coming up for future videos. I'll give you a bit of a tour of the work that I've done so far for those of you that may not have been following the project, and then I can give you a bit of an insight into some of the parts that I've been buying in the background, some of the plans that I've got, some of the decisions I've made. So I'll give you a bit of a walk around now, give you a bit of a tour of the project, and we can also think about what's next for Project 90 or Project Blue. So starting at the front of the project, you'll have seen in a previous video I fitted these new light parts, lights from ORE. They give it a bit more of a classic look, but they've also got that daylight running light in the middle. They look really cool when they're illuminated, and I'm really happy with that upgrade. But as for the rest of it, you'll see not much progress has happened. I've obviously taken the old winch bumper off, I've removed the old grille, but that's kind of where I'm at so far. In terms of plans for the front end, I'm thinking of going for a heritage look, kind of like I've got on Scout. So we'll remove these plastic trims and instead put some metal inset bezels, which will look really cool. And then alongside that, tee it up with some sort of heritage grille. Now, I've seen a few different types on the market, and obviously they vary from Puma to TD5. I'd ideally like just a mesh grille, which fits within kind of this surround. I don't like the surrounds that overlap the bigger surround. So what I would plan to do ideally is get a mesh insert for the grille, and then remove these obviously screws that I've put in for the moment where the original grille mounted, and instead get those filled so it's a real clean look to the front. The only thing I'm struggling with is to try and find a grille that works for the TD5 surround. So I'm going to take this off soon and have a play around to see if I can get the grille that's on Scout to fit before I go buying any additional parts. And then for the bumper, I'm just going to fit a standard bumper. I'm not going to go for DRLs or anything like that. I'm just going to fit up a straight bumper, no end caps potentially, but other than that, it'll be a straight up bumper, probably from the guys at ORE again. But I think that'll just make the front end just look really classic, really clean, and then I don't have to do any more modifications to that. There's a few other small niggly bits that are driving me mad, like there's some dents and dings in this surround. So I'm wondering whether I could try and find another surround off eBay, one that's a bit straighter, a bit cleaner. This also has lots that you can't really see probably, but drill holes in here where the original light bar was mounted, not that you can really see them. But that's kind of the plan for that front end, which I'm hoping will really bring together the front of the car and look really kind of classic and really nice in that kind of blue colour. The other thing to mention whilst I'm at the front is also I've obviously removed the ORE steering guard. That will be going back on as soon as I've got the bumper on. It's just obviously a lot easier to get the bumper on and to work around it without that on at the moment. So that will be going back on, that's just in the garage. Staying at the front of the car then, there's a few other bits that I'd like to update. These vents at the top, I'd like to just keep them kind of classic, some kind of mesh treatment. Again, similar to maybe what I've got on Scout, that ORE pattern looks really nice. So we'll swap those out as well. And at the same time, I obviously need to do a lot of paint work to the front, particularly around these hinges and in the bulkhead flaps, and also fix the seal around the windscreen. It's all cracked, all perished, and whilst I'm doing that, I'll be able to finish off the surround because again, there's more paint flaking off that. So that's again a bit of a paint project to do. But yeah, you can see it's all kind of flaking away, even on the surrounds here. It just needs a bit of treatment and then a repaint. And then in terms of the painting, I'm tempted to have a go at doing some of the parts myself, which I know sounds pretty scary, but I've seen a product online from the guys at Paintman. I'll leave a link down below, but I think that could be really cool to try and see if I can get a good finish myself, test it out on a couple of panels, and then see, because obviously the quotes that I got back for respray were pretty expensive, so I'm tempted to try and have a go myself, and if I can't get the finish, then perhaps it has to go to a full body shop. Final thing whilst I'm at the front is the positioning of the bonnet. Now, I don't know whether you can see on camera, but the bonnet sits very proud, and I'd really like to try and sort out those panel gaps if I can. So perhaps it's when I'm taking the bonnet off to do the paintwork, it's about repositioning where the bonnet latches sit. But I've seen on a few forums that it's very typical for this to happen on TD5s, and people to almost go crazy trying to sort that panel gap out. So again, if anyone's got any tips of how to perfect that to get it to a real nice kind of consistent line, that would be really cool, because it's just one of those things that really niggles me, and it's a bit more obvious perhaps when the grille and stuff's back in place, but I'd like to really try and resolve that if possible. So moving down the side of the car, again, side vents, I'd like to update those if possible to a more classic look, and then at the same time update some of the fixings that we've got going on here. So new mirror arms and new mirrors. It'd be cool to get those painted body colour if possible. And then whilst I'm doing that, also I've ordered some new hinges to go onto blue, which will be exciting because I've never actually installed new hinges to either Defender that I own, so it'll be cool to upgrade these. I've gone for an interesting colour, so I'll be keen to see what your guys' thoughts are on those. But hopefully these should come out a little bit easier than on Scout. Scout has ball bearings pushed into all of the bolts that are fixing the hinges, so I'm hoping that they should effectively just screw off and then we can put the new hinges on, new billet hinges. So I'll be keen to see your guys' thoughts on the colour that I've gone for those. Staying at the side also, we've got the side steps, and I'm really tempted to actually remove these side steps and go for more classic steps on the side of blue. As I said, it's more of a beach runner, a classic look, so perhaps these Fire and Ice side steps don't really kind of match or are in keeping with the build, so I'll be keen to maybe remove these and swap them out with something more classic. And while I'm swapping out the hinges, I've also got some new billet handles for the Project 92, which I'm excited about. Again, same matching colour on both, and again, I'll be really intrigued to see what you guys think, but it'll give it a really nice finish. Billet hinges and billet handles compared to the plastic fixtures and fittings that we've got, which will really elevate the build, I think, and that'll be really exciting to see those fitted, which should hopefully arrive in a few weeks or so. Now, as I work my way down the side, I've obviously got the Exmoor trim seatbelt rail fitted at the moment, which will be superseded with something that I've got exciting turning up soon, which I'll share in a second. And we've also got these body cappings, which I'm potentially going to replace. But again, I'd be really keen to get your guys' thoughts. This one has obviously just got the paintwork flicking off, and it's actually okay in terms of corrosion. It's all fine. I just need to sand it back and probably repaint it. A lot of the seals that would normally join the side panels to the body, they've kind of got so stuck on that I might have to sand these back and repaint. But in general, this capping this side is all good. If I go round to the other side though, you can see on this side it's really corroded, and I don't know whether this is salvageable, as in sanding it back and just painting it. It's not going to be supporting anything in particular. So again, I'd like to get your guys' thoughts. Can I salvage this body panel, this tub capping, or is it best just to buy a new one? They're actually relatively expensive. I think it's like £300 for the pair. So let me know, do you think I can just salvage this, kind of sand it down and then paint it, or is it best just to get a new capping? This is going to be kind of what I'm featuring next in the video, so drilling all of these rivets out to remove them, because I need to do some other body work to these as well, so we're going to have to remove them regardless. It's just whether I try and sand and refinish, or whether I'm better just to get new panels. So the reason I'm taking these cappings off is because I've got to fix this capping piece here. So if I come down here, you can see it's all rusted, it's all warped, it's all bent. So I've got a new piece that's going to go on here, which again, I'm going to have to get resprayed in the Cairns blue colour. But to remove this panel, it actually tucks underneath this capping. So I'm going to have to drill these rivets out. And also I want to repaint it anyway, as we've got that scuff down there. So I'm going to take these off, repaint, and then we can refit the new panel here. Whilst I'm here, we can also talk about the back too. So I've obviously resprayed the cross member. You'll see that in a video which I'll leave a link to above. But the next task, which I've started doing already, is removing these tub bolts, which are really seized, which are really hard work. So if anyone's got any tips for how to remove those, please let me know. But you can see there's also a lot of corrosion around this body part too. So whilst I'm taking the cappings off, I'll strip out the lights, the number plate, that kind of thing, and then we can sand all of this back and potentially repaint it as well. Again, I may try and do that myself, but I'm not sure how tricky that's going to be and what the paint's going to be like. So I'm going to test it on some other panels first and see if I can get a decent finish, so I can try and tidy this back end up myself. But these are proving a real pain. So if anyone's got any tips, any thoughts, if not, I think I'm going to have to resort to the grinder and drilling them out, which won't be the most fun task. I actually had to drill that one out there just to test to see how to do it. The other thing we've got fitted up is the DDS rear half door. I'm really happy with this. It looks really good. It fits really nicely. I've just obviously got to get this painted, and again, this might be one of the things that I test the paint with before I go spraying bigger body panels. So again, I'm going to probably do an order, see if I can get a good DIY finish on this, paint it Cairns blue. I think that will immediately start to transform the back of the car. And at the same time, I've also got some new hinges coming for the back too, so they'll be in keeping with the other bonnet, the bonnet hinges and also the door hinges that I've ordered, which is exciting. And then moving inside, this is perhaps where most of the paintwork needs to happen. You can see it was obviously used and abused as Defender should be, as a work truck, but obviously the bodywork has suffered as a result. So this will all need sanding back and painting, and this again is what I'm going to be doing in a future video. I've already started. I removed the old rusty capping that was along here, and I've started to prime and fill areas where I can try and just improve the finish. But this will be the next step. So I'm going to sand all of this back and then prime and then try and paint again this body myself. The reason I feel confident about painting the body is because I'm planning on putting a wooden deck in the back, so any crimes in my paint will actually be hidden by the wooden decking anyway. But I'd like to obviously try and master and see if I can get a good finish myself with the DIY solution from the guys at Paintman. Also going to remove all of these as well. These are proving a bit of a pain. I've already tried to have a go once, but removing all of those like lashing fittings are a real nightmare. But yeah, this will probably be the next video that you'll see up on the channel, is prepping this rear deck and starting to get it ready for paint alongside removing the tub capping. And then we've got the elephant in the room of what I'm going to be doing in terms of a canvas hood on Project Blue. I spoke before about the plans for getting a canvas hood and a heavy duty bar set, and I've now got one on order, which I'm really excited for. I can't wait for it to arrive, but it's going to take a few more weeks, so I've got a bit of time to prep that low bed there, as you can see. But I've gone for a really cool colour, and I'm excited for that to turn up from the guys at Exmoor Trim. Like I say, a few more weeks till it arrives, but I've got a heavy duty bar set which will replace that seatbelt bar. So if anyone's in the market for a seatbelt bar, let me know. But yeah, I'm going to get a heavy duty bar set and then the canvas over the top, which of course is going to make this truly a soft top and really going to make it look really exciting and different to obviously where it was before. So I'm excited to get that done. We've just got a bit of time pressure to try and get that rear tub all sorted before it arrives, but I can't wait for that to happen. And then moving on to the interior. So you'll have seen in a previous video I was troubleshooting a lot of electrical gremlins, so the dashboard is still kind of half out whilst I'm still tidying up some of the wiring. I've also left the top capping piece because I'm tempted to go for one of those wooden dashes. As I said, I'm going to do something similar in the load bed, one of those wooden deck load beds. I'm going to perhaps bring some of the wood through here. But in general, I'm really happy with these Exmoor Trim cool and vintage seats. They look so smart. Probably premature in terms of putting them in whilst I'm doing the rest of the work, but I was excited just to see how they look. So I'm probably going to be removing those when I do some of the other paint work, but I'm just really happy with how they're looking so far. And then in terms of the doors, I've just taken the door cards off whilst I'm fixing some of these latches and stuff like that. And for now, I'm probably going to stick with the full doors, and then eventually I'll probably move them to be half doors instead. But the full doors will still work with the bar set that I've got arriving. So for now, I'm going to keep them as is, partly because I can't decide whether I want the electric windows and what I'm going to do with the dash if I remove the electric window functionality. Then the final thing to talk about is the wheels and tyres. So this has obviously got the standard boost alloys, but they're wrapped in the Cooper STT Pros, which is a really nice wheel with a real aggressive tread, but perhaps not in keeping with the kind of beach runner, beach comber look. I'm not sure. So I might replace these out with a more classic wheel, like a Rose Star wheel or a Wolf wheel even, and then maybe think about changing the tyres as well. And these tyres may go on Scout. I can't decide whether or not to do that. I'm going to kind of pause on the decisions on the wheels until we've got the canvas on, the hood stick set on, to kind of take a step back, see what the build is looking like, and then decide whether we're going to change the wheels out for a different kind of more classic wheel or stick with the boosts. So there you have it, guys. That is the update on Project 90. I've got so many exciting plans and parts on their way, so it's going to really start ramping up. We've obviously got the bodywork to try and resolve and to try and do myself, which is a brand new thing to me, so it'll be interesting to see how I get on. And if you're interested in watching this build, please subscribe to follow the journey of both Project 90 and also Scout the 110 build, and I'll see you in next week's video.